Keep a fire burning red in a Joshua representing of a comes hard here. Big up Kidaki, Buxton massive. Hey Babylon boy, you go on like you know, like come son. Red.
Never joke, never joke.
Cycle, I say.
Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, poor people governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
All right, so today we are here at Club Twilight up in Buxton, and we are here to talk about all that's going on up here. Trust me, if you are on the East Coast, you're in Buxton, you're in Tongue, you're looking for a place to get away to, this is the place. The Cutters, mwah. Listen, I'll be having some just now again. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, the ambience is beautiful, fully air conditioned. The decor is on point. The music's on point. Everything's on point. It's just me. I need some work, but everything else that belongs to this club here is on point. So if you want to find a nice little place, or you can just drive out of town and have some drinks, have some food, you can call, you can order your stuff and just take it. You don't have to stay. Or if you want to stay here, that's what's up. And of course, they have special events for Valentine's. You can rent a hall. You can rent a hall, honey. You can rent a hall for weddings, for birthday parties, to have a bash. I hope he edits that out. But you know, whatever it is, this is definitely the place to be. So it's on Sideline Dam. You definitely want to ensure that you check this place out. But it's on your to-do list. All right, on your to-do list. This is definitely the place to check out, you know, a really cool, chill spot here in Buxton. I like this. This is Buxton needed this. We needed this. I needed this. You definitely needed too. Thank you.
Stop running around like headless chicken. Go to Ashton's Marketplace for whole and cut chicken, beef, pork, processed meats like bacon, beef franks, smoked ham, ground pork, calabresa, and lots more. Ashton's offers wholesale and retail. Check them out. Call 613-2332 or WhatsApp 434-327-3955. Ashton's Marketplace at 72 Rob Street, Border.
Are you planning your next visit to Oil Ridge, Guyana, South America? Well, let's accommodate you at Varon's Cheerful Country Manor. With free secured on-premises parking, our beautiful vacation air-conditioned home offers 3 beds, 2 bathrooms, a spacious kitchen, and all modern amenities. Located at Tushen, on the eastern bank of the mighty Essequibo and the western coast of Demerara, Varon's Cheerful Country Manor is just a stone throw from the ocean. Make that reservation now on Airbnb and VRBO. For contact, call us on 516-770-3053 or 592-685-3521. Make Varon's Cheerful Country Manor your home away from home.
Friday, November 1st, The place to be is at Club Twilight.
Yours truly, Trinidad Madman. I will be coming to Guyana for the first time, live and alive in living colors, in Buxton at Twilight Sideline Dam for an event called Short Pants and Skirts. So ladies, all they come out in all their numbers. Twilight Sideline Dam in Buxton, East Coast Guyana. Buxton is going to be on a shutdown. So ladies, get all your short pants and skirts.
Friday, November 1st. The place to be is at Club Twilight.
Comes out your son. You burn the swine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them art no kind. Comes, I say them art no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, Red Hat.
You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T&W Harris Butcher Shop, located in the East Ramvelt Market Meat Section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T&W Harris Butcher Shop, for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more.
Morning. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is 7 hours 48 on the 25th of October in the year 2024. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. Welcome to the program. The lines are open. It's Free Talk Friday. Yes. It's Free Talk Friday, so
The lines are opened. 6225933 is the number to call. What's happening? How was you yesterday? How was your last night? How is you this morning? What did you achieve yesterday from those smart goals that you set? Or did you rest last night? Which side of the bed you wake up on this morning? Have you been following the Brutus saga in the courts of Guyana? You know, this country is a funny place. This again is not a real place. But when you look at the happenings and you listen to the goings on, you really agree with some people that Guyana is not a real place. Caller, you're on.
Yes, good morning to you. Good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana. Happy Friday to my black brothers and sisters. First thing first, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Also, Flash Garden, I would love to be president and prime minister. But that is not important for me right now. What is important? I want to see the back of the PPP that home because of the punishment what they're doing to the country and to the citizen. Well, to this kind of thing. Let me remind my black brothers and sisters about a couple words. Sacrifice and protect. That is the only way you could get things done in the right way. Did anyone see that news Tuesday afternoon? When a small country than Guyana, these people come together and what they did, they protect to what Flash Garden, to a living. They born, they do all kind of things. And when they bring the government attention, the government was giving them something, and the person came to the news. The person was supposed to sign it off. He said, no, you got to come up better than this. My God. And we black people, all we do is program to program and talk. That's a little country. Why is that 83,000 square miles? But those people could protest. Ghana is the only country going through all of this nonsense. I don't want to protest. They're waiting for Amsterdam to go outside there. They're waiting for David Henry to go outside there first. They're waiting for Adnan to go outside there. People, if you have to go outside there, the Constitution give you that right and power. Not Adnan, not Amsterdam.
Seems as though we lost Flash. All right, so I was asking you, were you able to achieve some of those smart goals that you set yesterday? Do you now have hope of moving on to bigger things? How do you feel this morning? How energized are you? What goals do you have your eyes set upon for today? I don't know. Y'all could share with us. So I was asking, have you been following the Brutus matter in the courts now? So Brutus is officially charged. I think 30 charges were read to him yesterday. And if I were to follow the argument that there are about 240 charges to be laid, then the assumption is that there's another 210 charges to be laid. Caller, you're live.
Hello?
Caller, you're on.
Yes. What is the last word did I use that you heard?
I can't remember.
Okay, good. Now, let me move on from what I was saying from the test. It's something that black people in Guyana should praise and thank God for. What is that, Flash Garden? Talk to us. Did you guys see the news that those young army that the vehicle something and cause them that they have to jump overboard? God saved them. And there's something that the parents and grandparents should thank God for. Because if God did not step in and stop that, all of them, or 95% of them would have died. That brings me back to what Flash Garden rally about. That when the government changed, they must put in place that all male, if female want to come, is okay, thank God for them too. But all male must serve the country. Must serve the country, because right now it's black men alone serving the country, but they're not enjoying the wealth of it. Look how many lives would have been gone. Look how many votes would have lost. Look how many parents, if those young men would died, they got to grief alone, and the country people that will laugh and dance and kill the rest of us. I do hope Nigeria, you see that news. And Mr. David Hines, it's not too late for do the same, for do this, for do the right thing. We need change concerning our army men and women. Black people alone, black people, parents, and must not alone must feel that burden and carry that burden and pain for the rest of their life. I could remember this. This is America. When the Wall Street fall down, are you still there?
Yes.
When the Wall Street tend to follow. Or came down, which one? With that coming. The fire police them start to cry and said, oh, look how many of us die and so forth. I'll shout and say, hey, stop that nonsense. If you guys be open the door for black people, men and women to join the firefight, the fire police, we would have get to an morning and trying and briefing too. Breaking news. They open the door now for black men and women to serve. And what we get from that, what we get to understand, there was two test paper, examination paper. One for black man for fail, and one for the white boy. Them pass. Only white people. We have to change that system. Black people alone must not be representing Guyana. All other ethnic group, religion, and them must serve the country too. Remember what the young boy said. If he get a will, he will kill out all black people. Black people. But yes, still, Nigeria, you said it is okay for he to kill black people, but he must not go and fight for the country. My God, my God. It is okay for them to go and overturn the bus to kill black people, children. But it is okay for we must fight and protect the same people them who killing us, our children. Who go in school, come to us and say, hey, don't come back here. This building belongs to Kodi people. It's a Kodi school. It is okay for these people that tell us all these things and do all these things. But it is good for us to represent them nighttime and the bar and daytime. Black people, love yourself, love your money, and stop like yourself and like your money. Thank you. You have a good weekend.
Thank you for your call. The lines are made open. 6225933 is the number to call. You tune to Cam's TV. It's Free Talk Friday. So I was talking about what transpired in the court yesterday. Call you on.
Yeah, good morning, Kadaki.
Good morning, caller.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday. Calling concerning with Orion Buxton. If you could hear that the assistant commissioner saying when they send the SWAT team as its residents in the compound there, right? He said is when you send a SWAT team at a place, it's either this person has to be armed and dangerous. So if they could shine some light on me, who sent the SWAT team at Orion Buxton residence and shot him, that he wasn't armed and dangerous, right? They did not do thing with the law that they need him. So how come you could send that team at his house for murdering? Right? Same thing that Brutus say, the SWAT team will go in the police compound surround his own, right? It's either you got to be harmed and dangerous, that's why they send SWAT team. So if they could give us, the Home Minister could tell us why this SWAT team ran by our Boston house and murder him. That is my contribution for the morning. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. If you want to live long, don't hold your breath. If you want to live long, do not hold your breath. Nobody explains anything. Nobody clarifies anything in this society to anybody. Nobody. Everybody is a law unto themselves. And so, yes, there are rules of engagement, but who make the rules of engagement? Who break the rules of engagement? Who follow the rules of engagement? The only people expected to toe the line in this country are I can't say ordinary man and woman. The people at the bottom of the chain, let me say that. Call you on.
Yeah, good morning, again, everyone is. You know, the points of the color bring up both colors. They good points that we should think, because if the Brutus said what he said, because maybe he's a part of the law, he brought out certain things, and I could remember when the police went to your place. Many policemen, many men went into your building, went into your yard, your property, to check and do what they tried to do. And Brutus was there, and he said that if they search warrant got one person in, only one person can enter the premises. And I'm glad that he brought out that. The same thing with this other man. Now, a few pointers that Minister Jordan, who I now put him up as a doctor in medicine, also he was talking about, and he brought out the real inside of certain things that are used in the preparations of food. I didn't really know. And I was glad for that enlightenment. And there is where we can see they will tell down and say black people raise black man, so this and that. But what they don't ever stop to say, that the Africans were the people who were the teachers of everything under the sun. We taught them. And if we had to be teachers, we have got to know our stuff to impart it to the world at large. Going back to this feeding program, I could remember as a nurse, when then they had this thing, used to come over, Mama, feed your baby, feed him right. And then when they finish singing, they tell you, get up the pumpkin, get up the head, crush it, make porridge, grate your plantain, make porridge. And they taught people along the lines how to feed their children with the foods that were being planted in Guyana. And those things, I worked as a nurse, and once the parents followed the guidelines of the health centers, we saw a difference. Because my health center at then myself was one of the pilot health centers with this Mama Feed Your Baby program. And then after we did it, I think it was 5 health centers in the country. Then we extended it to other health centers to feed the children, because at those times, that's the slimy thing in the bottle. Food was the shop. And we were able to move parents away from the Garber bottle to our local foods. We even told them that the same foods where you cook for yourself, you could give it to the baby, crush up the little callaloo. And at an early age, you started to introduce solid foods to the babies. So when the time meet for the child now to come off of the milk foods like porridge and tea and so, the child would have already learned to accept what was being grown in Guyana. And many children adapted to the taste of the locally grown foods at a faster rate. And two minister said now scientists and doctors should put Dr. Winston Jordan in front, but I know that he will not accept that because he's a true person. Those things that he said, it is so true. Because when you look at foods that come here, especially I just call it the tin cup foods, I don't go for them. Certain things I tell people I do not shop at the supermarket because the only things I would buy is little rice. I don't buy rice in the market, the supermarkets. Things like them tin stuffs, I don't go for them. I could remember years ago, I had a visitor at my home. And when the visitor got here, the visitor took a survey of my kitchen. I remember food got to be prepared in the kitchen. And when he looked at the kitchen, he looked at me, looked back at the kitchen, he tell himself that he was starved because he didn't see nothing in cup in the kitchen. And I started to cook. And when I was finished cooking, everything that guy ate, he told me, said compliments to the chef. And when I cook soup, because I love to cook soup, when I cook soup the Sunday, the first Sunday, it's always nice. When he sat down on the thing, he went into the pot. He said, Rhonda, sorry, I should have. I said, no. When he was finished drinking the soup, he said, this is soup. Because he was accustomed to open a can of slime, chambers, whatever soup and use it. And we must go back to our natural foods. Lessen the chemicals, and we will have a longer life with less chemicals in our foods and our locally produced foods. Bye-bye.
Thanks for your call. You're still tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. I'm still your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. Yeah.
Stop running around like headless chicken. Go to Ashton's Marketplace for whole and cut chicken, beef, pork, processed meats like bacon, beef franks, smoked ham, ground pork, calabrese, and lots more. Ashton's offers wholesale and retail. Check them out. Call 613-2332 or WhatsApp 434-327-3955. Ashton's Marketplace at 72 Rock Street, Florida.
Friday, November 1st, the place to be is at Club Twilight. Yours truly, Trinidad Madman. I will be coming to Guyana for the first time, live and alive in living colors, in Buxton at Twilight Sideline Dam for an event called Short Pants and Skirts. So ladies, all they come out in all their numbers, Twilight Sideline Dam in Buxton, East Coast Guyana. Buxton is going to be on a shutdown. So ladies, get all your short pants and skirts. Friday, November 1st, the place to be is at Club Twilight.
It's the PNCR fundraising bingo on Sunday, the 27th of October at Congress Place of Fire from 2 p.m. Over $5 million to be won. There will be 20 straight games at $100,000 per game, 3 letter games at $200,000 per game, 3 coverall games at $1 million per game. Tickets are $6,000. 1 ticket gets you 6 playing cards. Remember, it's the PNCR Big Fundraising Bingo on Sunday, the 27th of October at Congress Place of Fire from 2 p.m.
Comes out your son. You burn this wine when no wire you shine. The tree of life, them no wire climb, cause them out no kind. comes, I say them heart no cry.
Are you planning your next visit to Orange, Guyana, South America? Well, let's accommodate you at Varon's Cheerful Country Manor. With free secured on-premises parking, our beautiful vacation air-conditioned home offers 3 beds, 2 bathrooms, a spacious kitchen, and all modern amenities. Located at Tushen, on the eastern bank of the mighty Essequibo and the western coast of Demerara, Varon's Cheerful Country Manor is just a stone throw from the ocean. Make that reservation now on Airbnb and VRBO. For contact, call us on 516-770-3053 or 592-685-3521. Make Varon's Cheerful Country Manor your home away from home.
Stop running around like headless.
Remember that those of you who are here locally and would like to utilize the services of Varon's Cheerful Country Manor, you can call them on 683-3110, 683-3110, 683-3110. Yes, and make your bookings. You must book for at least 3 days or nights. Local bookings, at least 3 days or nights, 683-3110, Varon's Cheerful Country Manor. I see Luther is asking me something about Buxton women. Why Buxton women so violent? One of them chopped up her husband the other day. I can't comment on what I don't know about. I don't know if a Buxton woman chopped up her husband. Maybe Luther can send me a link to that story or so in the news. Or you can give me some clarity. I really don't know. I'm one of those Buxtonians who just stay in the car and mind my own business. Right? Drink water and mind my own business. Talk politics and mind my own business. Cause the government and mind my own business. I really don't get into people's private matters. But to just label people as violent because they reacted or they did something is folly. It's folly. What was the stimulus? What stimulated that kind of behavior? Human beings have a mechanism, a defense mechanism, we call it. It is either fight or flight. Fight or flight. When you are confronted, when you're challenged, when you find yourself in a situation of threat, when there's a threat, you have to determine whether you're gonna stand and face it or you're gonna run from it. Good. When the governor, when our ancestors had problems with taxation without representation and so on, and the governor was passing here in the trade, it was the Buxtonian friendship women who came out and stood on the line and said, we're moving. I'm sure back then they call him arrogant and they call him ignorant and maybe some of them call him violent. But were they justified in their position? Yes, they were justified in their position. Their existence, their livelihood was being threatened. And so this woman that quote unquote chop up or husband or man, whatever, what pushed her to that? What pushed her to that violence? You don't know, right? If you don't know, keep your mouth out of people's business. But the reality is, we like to say men are violent. When we talk about domestic violence, the first thing that comes to mind is a man being violent to a woman. But women can be violent to males too. Women can be violent to men too. And so was that a case of a woman being violent to a man? Many people say there's no justification for a man to be violent to a woman. Is there any justification for a woman to be violent to a man? That's like a pick in my mind because I'm where you are now getting to. I don't condone domestic violence. I really don't condone any kind of violence. But I condone self-defense. I condone self-defense. And if somebody is going to be violent to me, and I need to be violent to protect myself at all times, then I will do that. I don't know the circumstances which led to this woman, quote unquote, chopping up her husband. I don't know. And so I can't comment much more, but I can say to you, folks, violence is not the answer. It can be the answer. Domestic violence destroys so many lives. Not only the lives of the adults, but lives of children and lives of relatives and everything. Domestic violence destroys too many people. One is too many. And so I'm not condoning that. Like I said, I don't know the details about that matter. But Dexter seems to know. You know, we who did communication and so on, when we're talking about video shooting and so on, we'll talk about something called point of view. Point of view. It has to do with from which angle you are videoing, from which angle you are seeing what is taking place. And I'm not sure that one can just look at a video clip and determine, well, hey, this someone chop up this man. I definitely can't just look at that clip or a video clip and see why this woman reacted the way she reacted. Where did this disagreement start? Did it start in the home? Do you know any of that, Dexter? Right? Sometimes we only hear when second bell ring. We don't hear when first bell ring. And so we really have to investigate why these things happen if we want to stop them from happening. Caller, you're on.
Good morning, Kadaki, and
good morning, caller.
Morning to every listener on this program, Guyanese brothers and sisters. I want to just shine a light on three things. But it all got to do with corruption, because the government is the factory of corruption. They manufacture corruption. They manufacture it, and they're trying to export it too. Anyway, education system, they're trying to build these big set of new schools all over. Fine. But we still have some schools that is in dilapidated state. Look at the day some wood fall on a lady head at a school. And they're trying to build new schools, but they ain't raising the teachers' salary. Why? This is wickedness. I could see this is nothing more than wickedness, because they get so much $1 billion budgeted for education. But again, in this government where they budget money all over, it's just to thief it out. They start in the project, pass the money, thief out the money, project level halfway. And the thing is, they have no accountability. Nobody to account to. That's why they want to control everything. Again, I wonder if all the police, them in uniform, I wonder if all them that in uniform is police. Because you got to remember these people, they pardoned 64 criminals when they go in office. Quick time, they pardoned 64. Since then, they don't know how to pardon. And these criminals were like renowned criminals. They pardoned them. People with more than on the record and all this kind of thing. So I still wonder if all the police them in uniform, especially them one who come in by night, especially some of them will go by Boston and kill the man in bed. I was wondering if all of them is real policing truth. Anyway, corruption, you have to think just like that because of corruption. Yes. The last thing I want to talk about, we should shine some light on the Ministry of Health. Too much drugs expire, man. So much $1 billion in drugs expire. No. I never heard that before. No other government. Something wrong. Let me tell you something. They're going to take a picture and show you a certain amount, and you believe is all of that. But I think they need to have the health system. Yes, the Ministry of Health. They need to there and find out why are these drugs expiring. Or they're trying to cover the tracks. Where they embezzle the money, they say that it's so much in drugs expire. They need to be at it. Yes, we got to work on these people. These people are dirty. And they are, every one of them having corruption. Every one of them. And so, I just show you out there. Have a good weekend, Kadaki, and everybody else. Bye.
Thank you for your call. Corruption in schools. I'm glad the caller mentioned the fact that all of these schools are being built, but teachers are not being paid. Because while he started talking about the PPP and building schools and so on, I'm saying in my mind, schools don't educate, you know. Buildings don't educate you. Buildings don't teach you. Many of us went to bottom-house schools. Many of our ancestors went to bottom-house schools. And we can't match their intellect. Ormela Gasai. She said the drugs expire like AP and UFC. PNC expire long. I'm sure she or her brain is on the same level of that expiration she's talking about. Because she ain't thinking. These folks can't think. They don't think. They don't choose to think. They come here and utter a set of nonsense when people are trying to have a higher level of discourse. Isn't it alarming that hundreds of millions of dollars, taxpayers' dollars, will have to now be incinerated, discarded, thrown away in the form of drugs? Shouldn't that be an alarming situation? But the caller said he never heard it happen under any other government by the right. Because it's once the PPP is in office, we end up with hundreds of millions of dollars of expired drugs. We end up with hundreds of millions of dollars of purchased drugs that have not been delivered. Yeah, check the records. It's not the first time that there are hundreds of millions of dollars of expired drugs. Who benefits? Then hundreds of millions of drugs are determined as expired. Who benefits? The supplier. Because they got to replace it. You have to replace it. And the caller is making an interesting point. He doesn't believe all of the amount that was declared is actually expired. He believes that maybe it was short supplied. And so they will show you what is expired and inflate the figure so that the rest doesn't have to be delivered. That is a con. That is what we do in this country. It's a big con game win. And so I certainly agree that there should be a thorough investigation to understand what is happening with the drug, how so much drug is expired, how long ago were they purchased, what was the shelf life when it was purchased, who the suppliers are. Who the suppliers are. Those are the things we need to investigate. So yes, I agree that there should be an investigation. So I was talking about this Buta situation, Butas in court and so on. $30 charges out of 240 proposed. So they got another 210 to be read to Butas. Is it overkill? I want to start by asking that. Is it overkill? Do you believe that the police can prove under any circumstances whatsoever and a person's guilt in 240 situations. Had I been the crime chief, had I been the DPP, had I been the commissioner of police, had I been the head of SOCO, I would have utilized my resources to focus on 1 or 2 or 3 of the more serious charges and being able to prove them in court. Because even if I can prove 240 charges, then the likelihood is all of them will run concurrently. It means run at the same time. The person one's sentence is going to serve all of those sentences at the same time. So a day for 240 charges is the same as the day for the longest sentence. So why not look at the more serious or most serious infractions, if you want to call them that? And focus on winning that, so that that person will serve the maximum time you think he or she deserves. I'm saying this from where I sit. I don't see Butos serving 1 day in jail. I don't see the police proving 1 case in the Butos matter. Even if they prove anything in the Butos matter, I think it is going to end up being a departmental charge. In terms of all of the criminal charges, I don't think they will win. Because a lot of people are complicit in what is happening. A lot of people. Are complicit. When you follow the news, the permanent secretary of the Home Affairs Ministry is involved in some way by giving some permission. The Commissioner of Police acting is involved by giving some permission, also by collecting funds on behalf of this person, or collecting funds from several people and remitting it to this person. It is alleged that the head of SOCO, who is the body that is doing the investigation, has some financial arrangement with the person that is being investigated in terms of the purchase of a property. Do you really think that these people are going to allow all of the connections to be revealed in court through 240 charges? I doubt it. Butos been seen another day in court for a long time. I don't know if they named the other date yet, but he's currently on bail and about $6.6 million bail. The Indo-Guyanese businessman is, according to the news, his lawyer said that he is willing to make restitution. And if you follow this story, you will know who is his lawyer and the impact and influence that lawyer has in the PPP government. And so again, I believe justice is for sale. In short, I'm saying some backdoor deal is going to be made at some point in time, and the case will languish there until they can't find the case jackets because roaches eat them out. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. It's a big puppy show. Read up on nothing. 240 charges. Why not go for the most serious ones and prove them? This is what I think will happen, or this is what I think they're hoping for. Anil Nandlal said that as soon as Butas is charged, he's going to be dismissed from the police force or something to that extent. I am not the brightest. I've studied law. Let me tell you all that I'm not constitutional, not criminal. I did some commercial and so on and so forth. But let me ask this question. And Queenie, I see you're here. So Queenie, you could give us the answer if you have the answer for this question. Such a senior police officer, what is the procedure for removing such a senior police officer from his or her post? I know in the army, Butas's rank might be perhaps equivalent to that of a major, lieutenant colonel or something perhaps. They are called commissioned officers. Commissioned officers. What is the process of removing a commissioned officer? Because a commissioned officer, as far as I know, holds a constitutional office. The commissioner of police is supposed to be a constitutional office. Like I said, I didn't study law, so if I'm wrong, y'all tell me I'm wrong, but that is what I think I know. Paul Snow, you're watching this program, but give me a call. Let me talk about this thing. Because the appointment of a commissioner of police comes from the higher tier. I think the president, in consultation with the opposition leader and the chairman of the Police Service Commission, I think. You notice? Police Service Commission. And so in my mind, in my head, for my little knock-around education, I'm thinking that it is more difficult to remove a rank as senior as Butas from the police force or from his post than it is to just remove a constable. And so if Anil Nandlal is going to sit and say, once he's charged, he's going to be dismissed, something wrong. You have to start asking the question, is Anil Nandlal the puppeteer of the Police Service Commission? Because again, I'm saying, in my little understanding, for such a high-ranking police officer to be removed, there must be, I don't know if you call it an inquiry, but some complaint has to come from the commission itself, or it has to go to the commission for the commission to investigate and make pronouncement. So I don't believe as long as Butas is charged, he's going to be dismissed. He might eventually be dismissed, but not charged yesterday and dismissed today. So Dennis Booker, do you have any answer to that question which I'm asking and perhaps answering myself? You have any clarity to add there? Is it that easy to remove an officer senior as Butas because he was charged but not yet found guilty before the court? I think the work, even saying Mr. Slow explained the process Wednesday on his program. I don't think it's a walk in the park. Good. The other thing I recognize is Jagdio saying because Butas said, according to news report, he will spill the beans. Jackie said you welcome him to spill the beans. Let all the cats and dogs and rats and everything. He welcomes it. I dare say Jack Dio can be as bold as he is to say that, because even if Butas spill the beans, as many people are hoping that he would, There isn't much to come out of it. There isn't much to come out of it. Because the people who are supposed to serve and protect don't serve and protect. They don't serve and protect in keeping with the law. Because if they are serving and protecting the letter of the law, the same Jack Doe who's saying he's happy, he will be happy for the bills to be spilled, might have been in an orange jumpsuit, regretting the day he took certain actions. Right? Might have been regretting the day. Because there are so many infractions. So many infractions on a daily from these chaps sitting at Freedom House and so on. That in other countries they would be in charge. When a man, a former president, Donald Trump in the US could be charged with so many, what do they call him? A little slow. But charged and found guilty. Well, the politicians in this country are so special. When is the last decade? Felony. Thank you, Sisi. When is the last decade you heard of a sitting politician charged and placed before the court in this country, much less found guilty of any misbehavior in public office? So that's why Jack Doe could say, we say. This is why he could say, we say, because at the end of the day, he got options. He got options. The constitutional officers don't behave constitutionally. They don't serve and protect the way they're supposed to serve and protect the letter of the law. Apart from that, debt is for sale in this country. Debt is for sale in this country. The haves will pay the haves not. To put an end to this situation. There have been, in my mind, in the last month or two, about three reports, three abductions. From where I sit and I look at the abductions, I say, listen, these people became a problem for somebody at some point and they want to get rid of the problem, so they just find somebody who will take the job to get rid of the problem. The most recent abduction, up to now, the jury is still out on it. Of that young man behind, call him with your microphone, please. The young man behind Giftland Mall here. First thing that came to my mind, this was a gambling debt. Do you know there's a casino at the back of Giftland there? I think they call it Fantasy or something like that. If looking at the video, my geography was right, he was abducted somewhere at the back in the vicinity of Fantasy. Could it be loan sharks who collected him so that he could pay them? Because ordinarily, I don't know anybody abducting you on the road and carry you to your house to give them the money you have and coming back next day for the rest. I think that was a gambling that people were collecting on. The bricks abduction, I don't know what the circumstances might have been, but something to do with the criminal underworld. Because again, when you read between the line, it seems as though Brick was a connection to something that was happening. So most likely became somebody's problem and they wanted to get him out of the way. And I think this Ajag was saying, Butas, you not no problem for nobody, or you can't be any problem for anybody too long. We got systems in place to deal with you. So talk what you want to talk for as long as you could talk. Remember George Bacchus? Wasn't he the informant for Gadraj? And when he got overbearing, didn't he start talking? What happened? Up until now, I would say his murder is still unsolved. Because I'm not convinced they had the right person if they ever had anybody for his murder. Caller, you on. Caller.
Good morning, brother.
Good morning.
Good morning to all the viewers and listeners. You know, we talked about spilling the beans. You know, this guy, Brutus, he ain't spilling the beans because everybody they deep down in the shit. He jagged everybody. He won't deep down in the crap. So he ain't spilling no beans. But you know who could spill the beans and who will spill the beans? The lower ranks of the police force. I mean, lower than Brutus. At times, inspectors and assistants, superintendents, all these kind of people. Because those are the people who actually do the footwork for them. And I want them to see now, open the eyes and see what's going on now. Brutus got caught stealing $800 million or whatever the original $1 million is. And how much they got? And they've been doing all the dirty work they've been doing. So they're the ones who has to step up now, who has to go in the corner and spill the beans. You know what I mean? And leak whatever they say, because I know they have plenty things to leak. So those are the ones who got leaked to the social media outlets, to the news stations, and even to the US Embassy and other places. Those are the ones who have to come with the leak because, like I said, they weren't getting anything at all. He got almost $100 million. And they're the ones who did the work for him. And Hamza got nothing. So people in the police force, the lower ranks than commissioner, y'all know y'all got to do. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Either this issue is going to go quietly into the night or somebody going to lose their life. I see anybody going to jail. I want to start with the low-hanging fruit. Let us see what will happen with the businessman that offered to pay back according to the news, I think. Right? Let's see that. I guarantee you Butas is not the only policeman that has never touched his salary for several years. According to the news, they say he has not touched his salary. He has a account to which his salary has goes to. That is the only account which has not been frozen. But he has not touched that account. He has not touched his salary for years. That is what the news is reporting. The man is disciplined. And I can imagine a member of the joint services not touching their salary for years if they're disciplined. Well, I encourage young people to go and join the army, because I generally encourage young people to go and join the army. I explain to them, I say, listen, if you go and join the army, you're setting yourself up for success if you're disciplined. As a basic recruit, I'm talking about the lowest rank here right now. A basic recruit, your training might be what, 3 to 6 months? I can't remember the exact. Well, I don't know what the number of months are right now. Is right now. So let's say they do 6 months training. For that 6 months, they're the property of the government again. They got to feed them, they got to house them, they got to clothe them. With good training and teaching about delayed gratification and so on, you ain't got no stress. Your family is even sending a little box to you every now and again. So for 6 months, you're accumulating money. When you get out there, Let's assume your money is $100,000 a month. You got $600,000. Can it serve as capital for something? I see it as capital for something. Let me take it further. Once you've done training and you become a soldier, you live in the army barracks. Call him with your microphone, please. You live in the army barracks. You eat at the army mess. What you want? And you remain disciplined like that, you ain't got no place to go. Is army clothes you're wearing all day, every day. You're sleeping in the property, you're eating from them. You could go without touching your salary. Especially if you are free and single. Single doesn't mean free. If you're free, single, and disengaged, as we like to say, you can afford not to touch your salary. So in what context Butos was able not to touch his salary, according to the news, for quite a while now? In what context? This woman has a registered business, his wife. She has hundreds of millions. It means that she's doing well. He ain't got to touch his salary. This is a rainy season. Call her on.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam.
Good morning to you.
That Luther story, I only hope the public, the whole Guyanese are open eyes and looking at it. First of all, he already had been contradicted before he even went into court. You listen to what Ananda said. He would be going down as the officer at the high rank in the Caribbean, and you didn't even went to court yet, and he don't pronounce what would happen. Like
yes, ranking officer with so many charges.
Yeah, but before he even went to court, how could he tell the outcome and he didn't went to court as yet? This is what we're trying to say. And the other thing is, the citizens be aware, because you see the SWAT team was there at his present location where he living in Blair. Now, that's an officer who living in a police compound. You have to have SWAT team. And then when he told them, well, only the person on the warrant could enter, you see they refused and they went away. It brings me back to remember the Essequibo business model where all the swap went in and what it did. So I think he had known what the swap is capable of. So this is why he was fearful. So we need to open our eyes to certain stuff and recognize what is going on, and it's a learning lesson for us also to know that only the person who names on the warrant is allowed in our house or present. So this is something that we need to put keen emphasis and look at the operation of the police force, because he's very fearful because he know what they normally do. So that's my contribution. Chinese, look out, be on the alert. Thank you.
Thank you. I see somebody say you're promoting. What am I promoting? Promoting common sense. I'm helping people to analyze things. You can be successful as a member of the Guyanese Defense Force, as a young recruit in the Guyanese Defense Force, if you get the right tutelage, and take the advice without being corrupt. Without being corrupt. But corruption is so ingrained in this society. I know my region ranked as sergeant and lost his job for selling fuel. We ain't got no common sense there. We ain't thinking. You work your way in the army from private to sergeant. You're closest to the highest rank of non-commissioned officers, because I think the highest you can go as a non-commissioned officer is warrant officer, W, in the army. So after sergeant, you might be a staff sergeant and so on and so forth and so forth. Are you thieving gas? You can't say you're hungry because you got to eat at the sergeant's mess. And they get a better quality meal than the ordinary ranks. But we look at what the bigger heads do, and we have evidence of what the bigger heads are doing, and we take our chances like them because we know what they're doing. And if they could do it, we could do it. The senior officers in the Guyana Police Force and in the Guyana Defense Force and in the prison service, they don't carry home the beef themselves. Beef here is figurative for everything that they would covet. I want to use the word. From the state facilities. Whether it's a bag of rice, a bag of flour, a bag of sugar in the London, they don't carry it home themselves. They give it to the lower ranks to take. Drop this home by me there. Or drop this by Miss Sweetoman down there. And so when the lower ranks recognize that, the junior ranks see those things. Say, there's a system. I gotta get in the system. 1 or 2 times I can go use the name of the senior officer and say, send me for a bag of rice. You think it's Nazi story? That is what happens in this country. But how do we fix it? We fix it by taking a stand. Citizens have to demand accountability, and people who are employed in the system have to know their rights and stand by it. Since I'm a little child growing up, I was told, don't sign blank paper. Don't sign for money without counting it. Don't sign any document without reading it. And a big inspector don't tell me that an assistant commissioner instructed him to sign for goods that he never saw, inventory that he never collected, and then signers distributing them. Y'all want licks. Plenty licks y'all want. Y'all want y'all head examined. But somebody said yesterday, Mr. Amsterdam, you know what's going to happen if he refuses? He's going to be without a job. My response was, I'd rather have my integrity than have a job that is corrupting me and putting my freedom at risk. The response was, and got your into mine. So some people seem to believe that corruption is okay because they got your into mine. And people can only be forced in those situations when the systems in the country are not working. Because that policeman is supposed to have some recourse, the police complaints authority perhaps, to go and say, well, here, my inspector is forcing me to do this which is illegal. And an investigation, in the US, they talk about OPR, Office of Professional Responsibility, and so on. I think we got one other down here. What are professionals are the professionals? And so when nobody is doing what they're supposed to do, ethically and constitutionally, everybody has to toe the line with the corrupt and nasty behavior. Caller, you on.
Good morning, Mother Kidaki. Good morning to the rest of and the viewers on the program. I want to ask a simple question this morning. If it is alleged that the commissioner acknowledged that he collected alleged from somebody's money to pay to make the citizens' dwelling, don't you think is it in law that the commissioner could be held accountable to?
Caller, have you been listening to this program?
Yes, I've been listening.
Haven't you heard me say that since the commissioner was the conduit for some of this money that they're accusing this man of getting in an illicit manner, then he too should be investigated? I ask him the question again.
I need to ask that question. I need to ask that question.
All right, go ahead and ask away.
You need to be aware. This is why I'm asking you. Because, I mean, why crucify one man?
I'm so upset because I don't think I heard an opposition statement on this issue, maybe, but I did not saw it or heard it. But this situation warranted international investigation by Interpol or the FBI because you can't ask the OPR to investigate the rest of the top brass of the Ghana police force. No. So then it is that incumbent on the opposition, both Nigeria and Abri, can't write the US, write the Interpol, ask them to come and do an investigation of the South France. We can't do one, man. Give us the money, bloody money, and let him have it. And this thing, yeah? Because this is going to run, this thing is going to blow the corruption. Obviously, you didn't have to himself, if it is true what they say, leave the man alone.
Well, I don't agree that the man should be left alone. I believe that there should be an in-depth investigation into these allegations, not only against Butos, but against every senior policeman, against every rank in the Ghana police force. There needs to be a commission of inquiry into the operations of the Ghana police force, from the lower rank to from the lowest rank to the highest rank. I don't believe the man should be left alone.
Agency, not by no Guyanese agency.
Well, I didn't say that.
There has to be an international investigation, either Interpol or the FBI, independently. And let's say that you alluded to the fact that you said on the program there needs to be an investigation or some type of the involvement of the commissioner. Has he stepped down? Has he been charged? Because as a policeman, you're not supposed to accept gifts like that, to my understanding. What is the recourse? What is the legal process of dealing with the issue of victims alleged admittal of receiving some amount of money from some businessman? What is the recourse for that? Is he permitted by law to do that? But so many questions in your answer, and you want to like the man, one man. There's a lot of people that's involved in this. Leave the man alone again. I said, leave the man alone. Let the man alone. Give back the man money. Because much people making out money, okay? What happened to two? We have an investigation of two. There was no investigation. So that Guyana is not a real place. I dare say to you, I make no apologies. I make no apologies so that the opposition keeps sitting on the backside. You know what I mean? Pressure them, write U.S. Embassy, the international funding agency, and let them all support international aid, whether economic or financial, to the Guyana police and defense force. Because the corruption, left, right, and supporting them is only fueling it. Continue to put fuel it, rather. I'm so confused. Is this a culture or a future? You have a nice day, sir.
Thank you, Golo. Good morning. Morning, all your morning. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. It is 7 hours 33 on the 28th day of October in the year 2024. Welcome to the program. I am your host. How have you been? How was your yesterday? How was your last night? How you passed the entire weekend? What happened for you on Friday? Friday might have marked a weekend payday for somebody, might have marked a fortnight payday for somebody, Are you satisfied? Did you get value for your labor? What did you do over the weekend? Did you use your special skill? What did you do with it? Y'all talk to me. I want mind business this morning. I want to know what y'all doing with those skills that y'all got. I'm continuing to enhance the skills of people in my neighborhood, in my community, people at large. Ever so often, someone will check with me for some assistance, some guidance. I'm continuing to help them to grow those skills and improve on them so that they can really empower themselves. In keeping with that, on the 10th of next month, the 10th of November, it's a Sunday, I'm hoping to have a marketing workshop for those small business owners. Those of you who were at the Business Expo, mark the date. It is likely to be the 10th of November, marketing workshop. You're going to get tremendous benefits out of it. So mark that date. I'm still fine-tuning, but we can do it in 2 weeks. I don't see it's not rocket science. It's going to have Mud Club Twilight. We're going to get that space there to use. And I'm still contemplating whether to charge you a registration fee or not, but it's likely not. Because I'm thinking if you register for the Christmas market, that might be a part of the deal. Register for the Christmas market and get the free workshop on marketing. Because a lot of our people have skills that they're using that they can earn with, and they are not maximizing the use of that skill to earn. A lot of people are into business. They say they're into business, but sometimes we say it's more busyness because they're not leveraging. They're not leveraging enough. They're not getting repeat customers. They're not attracting new customers and so on and so forth. And so I think we decided that, many of our people need assistance in that area. And so we're working on organizing that marketing workshop. But you're not only going to get tidbits on marketing, you're going to get information also on business management and accounting and growing your business, right? But it's primarily to help you to understand how to market yourself and how to market your product, and so that you can really grow your business. All right. I see Dexter Ali saying you want something to I'm not sure what he's talking about, but we're talking. This morning, I want us to talk about a couple of things. Things I said, things that have been said, and things that will be said. Most of them surround the cash transfer, because it's still a hot topic, cash transfer. Well, let's start with things I said. I did say to you that all of you that are sitting and waiting for Butas to spill the beans, or sing as y'all like to say, don't hold your breath if you want to live long. I've said to many in private and perhaps in public that what I expect to come out of this current situation, I don't know, I don't even know is the most recent position, right? Well, Robin Robbins, I'm very happy. I'll tell you this. I am very happy as an educator. I am very happy when people can use my ideas to improve their lives and the lives of others. I'm not stingy when it comes to educating people at all. And so if Ali grabbed that idea which I've been promoting here, so I'm really happy. I hope he's going to roll out the resources of the state to help those very people that he advised to use the $100,000 and invest in business, to formulate their business plans, to get additional training in business establishment and management and stuff like that, support services, so that when they invest that $100,000, they can be a success story. More of those who succeed would be a better bragging right for Ali. Good. So I hope he is not only going to tell him use it and invest in business, but he's going to provide the kind of support that they will need, like I am providing. Like I said, on the 10th, we're going to be doing that workshop on marketing and some other business discussions and so on. Right? I'll tell you I'll give you a sneak peek. I'm currently formulating an organization in the line of business empowerment, business and economic empowerment, where people can sit and we can have a round table and we can trash out business ideas and so on and help people to grow their business, create sources of finance and so on and so forth. Those are government's responsibility to a large part. What we always say, the opposition must behave as though it's government in waiting. And there's nothing that stops an opposition member or an opposition activist from doing the same thing. Behave as though you're government in waiting. Right now, I start behaving like I'm a minister in waiting. I'm looking to implement ideas and strategies that will empower people and lift them out of poverty. And so I challenge Ali not to only say, take the $100,000 and invest it. Show the other resources to the people. You have access to them. You have control of them. Good. Right. So I was saying to you, those of you who believe that Buddha's got any song to sing, do hold your breath because you're not going to live long. My position was and still is, and I'm seeing it unfolding, is that should that Bhuta situation really, really blow up, there are many careers at stake, whether it's in the political realm or the public service realm, and even in the private sector. There are many, many careers at stake. There are many people's livelihood at stake. Many people's credibility at stake. Remember, there's a businessman charged along with Butas who offered up to his lawyer to make recompense. Right? Part of the argument he is finding it difficult to provide for his family because his bank account or bank accounts have been frozen. Can you imagine how many other persons will find that same difficulty? If Buddha sings, if the investigations really take on the size and depth that it ought to, the seriousness that it ought to, can you imagine how many more bank accounts will be frozen? And how many more people will find it difficult? So I don't see Buddha singing. Even if he's willing to sing, I don't see his, what's the word? Nemesis, perhaps. I don't see his opponents allowing him to sing. A lot of people are suggesting that they might murder him. Or as we like to, the people say on social media, unalive him. I don't think so. It would be too blatant. So I don't think so. It will be too blatant. Squeeze him? Yes, they can possibly squeeze him, but squeeze him how? Because if you squeeze him through the courts, his lawyers can force people to say certain things, understand? And things that are not going to be savory. And so lives will be destroyed, understand. The only alternative, therefore, is a bottom-house deal, an under-the-table deal, so that all of us can go quietly into the night. This is what I'm projecting, and it has started happening. I told y'all a deal gonna make. Y'all remember that? The first step to that deal is we are not negotiating under duress. You remember those terms? We don't negotiate under duress. And since we got a bigger stick, as in the government, this is what we want you to do. Withdraw the charges that you brought against us. Y'all hear me? Withdraw the charges that you brought against us. And so the constitutional matter, if that is what it's called, that Butos had brought against the government for obstruction and for punishment and for discrimination and for all kinds of things stemming from the beginning of that investigation, those charges have been dropped in totality. The case has been dropped in totality. The news is reporting it. That Butos has dropped all the charges against the government. Old people say, and wash your hands, make her come clean. And wash your hands, make her hand come clean. So I'm going to withdraw the charges in exchange for what? Maybe the public is not going to be privy to whatever is being exchanged. But I'm projecting this. Butos can't be fired just yet. He hasn't been found guilty by the court, so we're likely to interdict him. How far is Butos away from retirement? Can he get early retirement as a senior officer in the Guyana Police Force? I would rather suspect so. So if you retire early, if you're allowed to retire early, then you live with your benefits. As against being dragged through the court system with all of these 240 charges, with the possibility of at least one of them succeeding, and then you get dishonorably discharged from the police force and you lose all of your benefits. I'm guessing the deal is I will withdraw the charges. It's likely that the deal goes somewhere along that line. I will withdraw the charges. Y'all will allow me to retire early. You will withdraw your charges once I retire. You're going to unfreeze my bank accounts. Maybe you could hold on to some of the money, but allow me to go my way because that is what you want. In exchange for that, I will stay quiet until death do us part. Is there a possibility that that is the kind of deal that is being weaved? I believe so. Because let me tell you this. Number one, if we allow you early retirement, the public doesn't even have to know that. You can go quietly into the night. We could spin wherever we want to spin if we're confronted by the question, what happened to Butos? Wayne note, I said he hasn't been convicted as yet, and so they can't fire him just yet. He could be interdicted because he's charged before the court, which means interdiction, as far as I understand, you will be placed on half-month salary. But you really can't function. You're not allowed to function on the job. So I'm guessing early retirement. Even if you don't announce to the public or the retirement, you just go quietly into the night. I'm guessing that it's not likely an announcement will be made that the charges have been dropped. If they decide to drop them, or worse yet, the charges could remain on the books, but the case might never get caught. Because at the end of the day, like it or not, I don't care what any Guyanese say or any person, as a matter of fact, as we usually say, God himself gotta come and tell me. That the PPP government doesn't justice shop. That the PPP government doesn't have a hand in the judiciary to get what they want, when they want, how they want, most times. God himself gotta tell me though. And if you look at when Anandla was charged for those law books, and the president was charged for 19 charges coming out of his leadership at the Ministry of Housing, how those cases almost never saw the light of day in the court. Remember how they were dragged out? And there was a PPP in opposition. Imagine the PPP in government. So I'm saying the possibility is those charges can remain on the books, but the case might never get heard in real time. The accused might be given adequate time, enough time, more than enough time to just leave this country and go to other shores. Remember the time of the Black Clothes, when the Black Clothes police is coming under real pressure, a lot of those guys left and went to Canada and the US and so on and so forth. And they stayed there quite a while, and then when things calmed down, they came back. I'm thinking the possibility is this other person is going to be able to leave and don't come back. I'm of the firm belief, and I'm saying it here, I'm repeating it as a matter of fact, I don't believe anything is going to come out of this matter. Least of all, with us singing and telling the public anything about all of the things that they want to hear about. Because don't forget, aiding and abetting is a crime too. And complicity makes you guilty perhaps by association, whatever the terminology they will use. Let's watch the ride and see if I'm calling it right or wrong. But I am betting on me. Good. So on the 20th into the 21st of December, we're going to have Christmas market at Buxton, Milwaukee Road, opposite the Purial and the Benjamin's Lawn. That market starts around 2 o'clock, Friday afternoon, with the possibility of spilling over into Saturday morning. Good? I'll keep that in mind. The WP has planned a fundraising takeaway lunch, yes. That is going to be held on the 1st of December, Sunday, December 1, at Club Twilight. The WPA is hosting its fundraising lunch. So y'all check that out. Ticket details and so on will be published eventually. On the 1st of November, that's Friday coming, Club Twilight has a party they call Short Pants and Skirts with Trinidad Madman, Disco Baby, DJ Alliance out of Trinidad and so on. Those of you who like a good soca party, come down and support the thing. Good. Now let's talk about cash grant and how we keep shifting the goals if I can call him that, for cash grant. I don't know. I'm yawning a whole lot. I don't know why. Y'all could tell me why. Is it that I'm tired? Well, naturally, I think I'm tired. I've up since 3 o'clock. Why am I yawning so much? I lack oxygen. Well, yeah, that means. Don't talk about that. Let me tell you that the Overseas Medical Outreach Team, they are here in Ghana, and they've started working. Where are they currently? I'm going to tell you just now. I know they're coming to Buxton on Thursday. It's somewhere in Borbies. Right now, I want to ensure I get that right for you, because by all means, you're supposed to know. If you catch it free and it's good, take it. Yeah, so the Ghana Medical Mission is, they started working yesterday, as a matter of fact, at Borbies High School and Fire Health Center. So they were at Borbies High School and Fire Health Center yesterday. So if you didn't catch them there yesterday, today you can catch them at Rose Hall, St. Francis Xavier Community Center. St. Francis Community Center, Rose Hall. Good. I think anyway they go, they start working at 8. So if you didn't catch them at Borisai and Farish yesterday, they will be at Rose Hall today and Landligman Health Center. Right, so they will be at St. Francis Community Center and Landligman Health Care Center. Both of them seem to be in Rose Hall. And then tomorrow, which is Tuesday, they will be at Belgium Seventh-day Adventist Church and Myconi Community Center. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the Ghana Medical Mission will be at Belgium Seventh-day Adventist Church and Myconi Community Center. On Wednesday, they are at Mahika and BV Healthcare Centers. Yes, on Wednesday, they will be at Mahika and BV Healthcare Centers. And Thursday, Buxton is special. They're coming to Buxton alone on Thursday. And on Thursday, they will be at the Buxton Healthcare Center. And Friday, you'll find them at the Girls Guides Pavilion and Sapphire Healthcare Centers. Friday, November 1st, they will be at Girl Guides and Sapphire. Now, what services are they providing? They have adult and child wellness checks, blood pressure testing, blood sugar screening, cholesterol screening, vision screening, and ophthalmology care, pain management, that is only at New Amsterdam Hospital, rheumatology, only at New Amsterdam Hospital, dental checkups at Girls Guides Pavilion. And that is on November 1st. Remember, on November 1st, they are Girl Guides and at Sapphire Healthcare Center, where they're doing dental checkups at Girl Guides. Good? And that is being done in collaboration with the Dublin Park Lions Club. So you have it. If you didn't know, you know now. Good? The team consists of both overseas and local doctors. It's like their annual pilgrimage, I want to call it. They always come and they deliver good service and so on to you. So make good use of it. Good. So let's talk about cash grant, I was saying. Up to now, I don't know if y'all could wrap your head again around the cash grant announcements. Because first you heard that every household is going to get $200,000 and the disbursement will start immediately. Instantaneously was the word used by the presidents. So within 24 hours of us speaking wisdom on CAMS TV and elsewhere, the presidents came back and said, first and foremost, the Barlet Tyrant came and said, listen, I don't know what instantaneously the president's talking about. Maybe he doesn't understand the use of the word instantaneously. But we are looking at about 5 months before this money is delivered. Good? So it moved from right away to 5 months down the line. And then the presidents came and said, listen, we're not going to be giving it to households anymore. We're only going to give it to Guyanese citizens age 18 and older, and they got to be 18 by the end of January of 2024. So if by the end of December 2024, you're going to become 18, you can't drive. You got to be 18 in January. Good. That's what the president said. Again, we spoke wisdom on the program here, and Jordan advised that, this money really and truly, there's some things to be clarified. Like you have to be a resident Guyanese to get it. Because they didn't make that clear. And so they left the doors open so that when they start distributing, you can find overseas people flooding in to collect the $500 US. So Jordan was encouraging we should make it clear that it's resident Guyanese only. But being a political prostitute that the VP is, it latched onto that as seeking advantage and say, no. As long as you're Guyanese, overseas based or not, every Guyanese is entitled to this $100,000 per individual, 18 years and older. Now listen, I believe that every citizen of this country has a right to benefit from all of its resources. So I don't have a fight with overseas-based Guyanese being allowed to access the $500 Guyana one-time gift grant. Number one, I don't expect Guyanese to come and pay. You pay a fare of what? $1,000+ to come and collect $500? Sounds like ignorance. But one has to stop back and ask, what is the trickery here? What is at play? Let's cross-reference. The voters list has not been cleaned of all of those people who live overseas and have never come back here, but have been found to have voted in the last election. So is this a ploy to get them to come home to vote in person now? Is this a ploy to get them to come home to vote in person now? Have we already lined up all of the PPP supporters in Canada and told them, hey, y'all come home to vote and keep us in office. We will ensure you get some recompense. Through the financial grant, through the cash grant, we are going to give you at least $500 US. Is that a trickery? Well, a board whispered in my ears and said, here, this announcement is made. This announcement is made of this one-off $100,000 per individual in about 5 months' time. But when it is closer to the election, which is next year, so maybe we're giving a cash grant once a year. When it's closer to the election next year, there's going to be an announcement of another cash grant, this time large enough to cover airfares. This time large enough to cover airfares. So I want you all to understand that what the PPP is really doing is buying votes with your money. Yeah, everybody knows that, right? But did we really stop to examine the modus operandi? What's the method they're using to buy these votes? So come next year, we're going to give you out $250,000 cash grant. It's a one-off for buying elections. And so if you're overseas, you could come and collect it and vote for us. That is what the PPP is about. And that is dangerous. Very dangerous. Because they're going to use your money to buy favors to pad the voters list or to pad the electoral results. And so you have to be woke, you have to be aware, you have to stand guarded. Keep that in mind. Please do. Always look for the ulterior motive when the PPP says it's going to do this or it's going to do that. Here was the other thing. They want to set up the opposition to fall out of favor with the overseas-based Guyanese. Because the first thing a lot of people going to jump and say, why they got to get? They don't live here. I've heard that argument before. And so you got a tit for tat going on with locally based Guyanese and overseas based Guyanese about who got rights and who got more rights. Don't fall in that trap. From where I said every Guyanese is entitled. Every Guyanese is entitled. However, we ought to prioritize those who live here. Will get the grant for the first 2-3 years, whatever the amount to bring them out of poverty. Then we will cast our eyes further. Understand that? Look after your immediate environs and then cast your net further. But no, it is important. It is important to rope in all and sundry with this payment, whether first or second payment, so that we can secure a vote from them at election time. That is what this change of heart is about in terms of whether households get it, whether individuals get it, whether it's a one-off payment, whether it is and so on and so forth. But I always trust the wisdom of Brother Yussi Kwena to bring to our attention things that we young folks overlook. And so there's a letter that he penned to the Starbuck News. And I want to share it with you. The letter is headlined, "This new financial disbursement should be backed by legislation and debated in Parliament by all sides." Right. And before I go to the letter, let me say this to you. So far, all of the announcements that the PPP has made through the presidents and the vice presidents and all of them are promises. They're not backed by any law. There is no certainty. And so Guyanese are just living in hope. The WPA's proposal, however, caters for legislation, caters for an identified portion of the income from oil that should be distributed to the citizens. If I had to choose between these announcements by the PPP and the proposal of the WPA, I'd rather go with the proposal of the WPA, because once enacted, there's certainty in terms of what you're entitled to as a citizen. You could look forward to it. As we like to say, it's bankable. And note, while the PPP is giving you $100,000 as a one-off, and it is whispered that they will perhaps up it to $250,000 close to the election as another one-off. Professor Clive Thomas recently said, given the increased level of production and the projection of how much we're going to produce and income and so on, Guyanese are now in a position to receive more than that $5,000 previously proposed. And so imagine if you can have that legislated. As the people like to say, choose your struggle. This new financial disbursement should be backed by legislation and debated in Parliament by all sides. Dear editor, some weeks ago I heard that His Excellency the President of Guyana appeared in the National Assembly to deliver a message in accordance with his powers and rights. This message was significant, giving thousands hope and encouragement based on the information I have. His Excellency announced the distribution of a share of the oil wealth to Guyanese citizens at large. I will refrain from providing specifics due to the absence of official documentation available to me. These may be new legislative methods with which I am unfamiliar, given my experience. Y'all see the sarcasm there? That's you see right now. Boss. More recently, I listened to a speech by President Dr. Irfan Ali. It seems that after consulting within his party, President Ali decided to change the mode of distributing a portion of the oil wealth, shifting from a distribution by household to one directed to the individuals aged 18 and above, a noteworthy age threshold. There were numerous public responses, including pushbacks and modifications. I was quite intrigued by the creativity and astuteness of the citizens of Guyana as they engage in this ongoing discussion. I wonder whether it will be disloyal for government members to admit that the cash transfer disbursement plan first came from Dr. Clive Thomas of the WPA. When Dr. Thomas first raised the issue of the widespread distribution, When Dr. Thomas first raised the issue of the widespread distribution of oil wealth, it was new in Guyana. The Vice President, Dr. Jagdeo, held a press conference soon after, and the press presented Dr. Thomas's proposal to him in their own words. I heard Dr. Jagdeo say, quote, I will implement it, end quote. Later, there seemed to be a shift from the position to one in which it was felt that implementing it would not be a healthy move. Then came the other things, like the appointment of the Natural Resource Fund. His Excellency the President made all the appointments. The opposition in the National Assembly chose one person. I'm wondering about this oil wealth, which has been assigned to something called the National Resource Fund, with its various departments and personalities, even though they don't have a place to meet. For example, how could money from that fund be disbursed even advantageously to many without a piece of legislation? This is a new way of government. It is so transparent that many people see through it onto a possible snap election, as suggested no one is taking it for granted. So here comes now the president with a large disbursement of funds to the public, either to be by the household or by age without a piece of legislation. To some of my generation, not brainwashed by the British, but growing up in the tradition that Parliament is the controller of the public purse, ultimately, this is an amazing development, not a piece of legislation. How will the Auditor General pronounce this distribution when it takes place? I have my suggestion for doing it, but I'm not including into the Guyanese conversation. I'm not intruding into the Guyanese conversation. People on the spot or in touch with what is happening can get information instantly, as I now cannot. I'm not trying to bring my notions into play in this issue. I'm just saying that this is a new financial disbursement and should be backed by legislation and debated in Parliament by all sides to continue the official debate. Which is recorded in Hansard, is often used by the Office of the Auditor General in judging the legitimacy of official expenditures. This is not an ordinary piece of legislation. It is comprehensive and ought to be bound by the basic principle of how expenditure is undertaken. We know that a few months ago on the government initiative, the laws on quorum for the Public Accounts Committee were amended so that the Public Accounts Committee could not meet without the government's consent. This body oversees by law and constitution the spending of every penny generated in Guyana's economy. I got lost. Penny generated in the Guyana economy and lodged in the consolidated fund. Things must be restricted according to the rules or run into chaos. Let me summarize what I have to say about this issue of disbursement of oil wealth. I find it the most worrying issue. The laws of Ghana allows the president to address the National Assembly with a message at any time of his choosing. The president appears to have used this power to legislate the disbursement of oil wealth in a manner decided on by a narrow circle of people who perhaps have some right but do not recognize a democratic voice or decision. No legislation has been mentioned, promised, or hinted at so far. That is a serious matter. So here we have one Ghana, one man, two messages. The second of which is expected to stand when it comes to auditing and transparency. There will be problems. Another observation I want to mention is that the decision is made and it is generally welcomed by people. Everybody wants those living below the poverty line and those above the poverty and those above it to benefit from oil wealth. And I can have no objection to that. There will be violations and weeping and gnashing of teeth. The distribution is a positive step. Everybody welcomes it, but it is not being done correctly. The parliamentary democracy we claim to have is based on the, quote, voting of supplies, end quote, by the people's representatives. Yours sincerely, UC Guayana. And so, like I said, that's the wisdom of Brother UC pointing out to us here. In normal circumstances, there must have been legislation to support this disbursement, this payout, this cash grant. And that legislation would have allowed debate in Parliament and so on, and would have caused the positions of the lawmakers, the legislators, and so on to be recorded by Hansard, which is the official record. And so in future, you can always go back to the Hansard to clarify things. But as fate would have it, the PPP doesn't believe that they should go to the National Assembly to debate anything on this issue, much less have it legislated. And so, but you see saying here, usually it is the Hansard which guides the Auditor General in terms of determining the legitimacy of expenditures in issues like these. And since there is no answer, since there is no legislation, since there were no debates, it is going to be a nightmare for the Auditor General. The lines are open. It's now 19 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour, and you tune to the Guyanese Morning Time. You're free to make those calls now. 6225933 is the number to call. Call and let's talk the thing. I'm listening if you're calling. Caller, you're on.
Good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana. Happy morning to all of you guys. You know, that's why first thing first, we're going to get there. Second thing, garden, I'm not focused. I would love to be Prime Minister and President, but that is not necessary in my book. What is necessary for me, I would love to see the back of the PPP let go because of what they're doing to the country and the wealth and the sense to them of Guyana. Those are powerful words. But let me say this to you. You need rest, my brother. You look very badly tired. After this program, go and sleep about 5-6 hours and wake up fresh for tomorrow morning. Take my good advice. Let me move on. Are you still there?
Yes, I am. Thank you for your advice.
Okay. Okay, good.
Whether or not it's a reality is a different story. Continue.
Good. Now, Jackville dropped a next bombshell when nobody paid mine, but Jack Garden love news. I will bring it to my brother and sister attention. Stop building a monster where you guys cannot destroy it. Keep telling Guyanese black people now, it is okay for he and police supporters them could call a black woman low life in Guyana. Because he meant when he was answering question, he went away. And he...
As usual, I think we lost Flash Gordon here. Caller, you're on. Caller, you're on.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good. Mr. Flippin Sanjak, you know, every week he's coming up with a new thing with his cash grant. Next week, we're going to hear, or this week, in fact, we're going to hear, he's going to say the prisoners could get 100,000. And the following week, you're going to hear all the homeless could get 100,000. And I don't know what you're going to do coming on to the other weeks and the other weeks. But Mr. Flippin Sand, this is what we call him. Do people know that the Norwegians got a serious sovereign wealth fund, whereas each Norwegian, it's called a pension fund, gets like $300 and something thousand, and their fund could run as long as 300 years. And as Mr. Koyana said, we need legislation. And it's because of the people that get the legislation and proper management of the money. That a man just ducking the hand there and taking the money and throwing it where he needs it. Norwegians in and out of Norway gets money. And it's going to last generations to come. Good, that's one. Number two, you know, the new way of kickbacks is by gold, right? If we check our gold declaration has dropped, these guys realize, ministers, etc., realize that the people is on to them with the cash money that they're giving. And they're demanding gold from those who are giving them kickbacks. And they start fighting the gold. So soon you're going to hear be declaring for unfair gold for a whole year. Just being, you know, facetious there. But let's keep our eyes on that. Every single one of them are taking kickback now in gold. Right? right? The people are changing strategy, but we on to them. Let them know that we on to them. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your call. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. Flash Gordon, you can try that call again if you needed to complete your thought. Just on cue. Caller, you're on.
Yes, I will. Now, I was saying Jagdo dropped a bomb again. And we black people is not taking on it. That bomb he dropped is when he shifts from answering that young man and said, oh, Donald Trump call a white man low life. We don't business with Donald Trump and we call low life. We business for respect us as human beings and stop putting out words out there and encourage Cody people, your supporters, them, and everyone, other people to call our black woman low life. And black people have to put a stop to that. The husband, I blame him all the time. He did not put a stop to Jagdo for calling his wife. And now Jagdo repeat it again. But low life, I take it serious. Don't mind me not living there. But we got me more than sister than I miss living there. I'm telling it loud and plain. If anybody call my family low life, any quality, when I come home, I'm going to take action loud and plain. This nonsense must stop. Jagdo is teaching the people how to rule black man. You could tell them anything. When I come out the board, set out black man on the belly. Jagdo repeat it. When you repeat it, Flash Gordon, talk to me. When the man with 19 charge supposed to go to the parliament for the first time, one of the media house asked Jagdo, so tell me, do you believe that the opposition will come out to parliament? He said, I don't know. But what I do know, they will come to eat the food. He called us on rebellion again. Nobody not pay a mind to that. Jagdo is teaching these wicked supporters them also this and mass black people up. You know, that's when we love this program, you know. I always say the program is number 1, Paul is 2, and David Hines is 3. You know exactly what was coming to talk about the same platform. We must be careful. Becoming grandmother teach from small. My grandson was sweet a goat mouth, was bitter ASS. And I live for see everything she teach me. $100,000 of cash. You remember Flash Gordon always come out since last year. Up now that encourage that people should come home and vote. But now this is what they're doing. It's encouraged now. You don't have to use their vote and people live there. He encouraged them to come home and vote too. Like a Flash Gordon encouraging black people. But I'm going to give you, but he will only give black man $100,000. He will give only $340,000. He could pay for them ticket. Trust me, that's why. That's why God used that brother to let that man know that all the money is supposed to pass. It's supposed to be law. Go in parliament and pass it through. We will know every dollars and cents. Come on, let people take it note. Be careful with all the time. It's a trick in it. And Jagdo going to pay some other young black boy to forget them. I don't say, look, vote for them banner. Them banner giving 100,000. PVP and WP don't have nothing to give people. When a man go back in office, we will get 200,000. Nonsense. A one-shot deal. Nonsense. Last before go. Why we say it's nonsense? Because when instead of telling people they have to move, and if you hardly move, I go pop down the place, I don't care. What young lady comes and said, Ejil, you know, remember me? Ejil said, no. She said, I work for PPP. Ejil be mind fine print. I don't care what damn. You take up the money. Are you moving? If I have to go in parliament, black people, are you be careful with this one-shot deal? It comes back to what the leader always said. Take the money and know where to put your vote. Because if I don't take it, they will thief it. Thank you very much for your time. Hello?
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time and take a rest.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
All right.
All right, so the lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. It's now 8 hours 29 on the 28th day of October in the year 2024. All right. With all fairness, let me tell y'all something. I know. I need rest, but I can't rest today. Oh God, today is a dreadful day. My plan was yesterday. I planned to drop everything and rest. Yeah, yesterday I said to a friend, I ain't cooking, I ain't walking, I only eating. But it didn't turn out to be that way. I had a rough day yesterday. Yeah, I had a rough day. I had a tall day, so much to do, and then of course I had to go down and see if I was going to win $1 million on the PNC bingo. The PNC pull off a big one, man. They had a big bingo yesterday. Congrats to the organizers. So I went down there to that bingo thing and I came in. I have so much to do still, and I please mute your microphone when you call again. And so today is going to be a tight day. The whole week tight, but I try to get some rest. And when I have so many things to do, this is what happens to me. I don't know if it happens to any of you, but I can share that with you. And see if you can identify. I don't sleep. I was up since 3 this morning. Right? I couldn't sleep. As they say, I make the turn there, and that was it. So I will try my best. Yesterday was an eventful day. I went out on the road yesterday. Villagers' home was on fire. I did my part, let me just say that. So I helped to control that fire until the fire service people got there. And then from that, I had to run and get some other stuff done all around the village and around the thing, into the city and so on. So it wasn't bad. I exerted a lot of energy. And then I'm faced with, Winston Jordan calling. You must got a reason for calling. Good morning, sir. How may I help you?
Good morning, Kidaki. I said I'm going to give my 2 cents quick on this part of the residency again because I know Taurus is out there. You may not have a
Yes,
program.
go ahead.
Right. Now, I think this thing about people not wanting to say precisely, including you, precisely who should be getting this money, is we want to be what we call politically correct. We don't want to seem to alienate the diaspora and so forth. But let us be rational about this. When Ali made the disclosure on the 10th of October in his speech, he said the cash transfer was being given, and these are not his words, but essentially in recognition of the cost of living, and so forth that took place in 2024. Now, everything has to have a basic objective and end goal. So, if that is the case, it can be no way that the government would have been thinking that the diaspora had to be included in this cash transfer. No way. But they didn't put the word resident until perhaps I began to put that in the public domain. Listen, this thing is a open-ended book. And there's no way you can plan in an open-ended situation. You have to have some ballpark numbers that you are going to be dealing with, and that you know where to go and find the money for that ballpark number that you're dealing with. There's a reason why they got things like cut off and so on. Otherwise, you will never be able to budget. If we so love the diaspora, as we do, by the way, why we then invite them to come and get COVID cross-grad? It's too small. Forget the size of the grant. What about the principle? And COVID cash grants were being given out almost soon after the elections. They came to government. It might have been a good way to reward those who came from overseas and vote, plus who didn't come but voted, and so forth. There's a reason why, for example, public assistance is not available to overseas Guyanese. There's a reason why
old age pension is not available to overseas Guyanese. Whenever our government is making policy, it's essentially for those who are within its recognized borders, and for good reason. There is no way you can make policy to include all those guys who are in Alaska and Japan and, you know, not counting, of course, United States, New York, and so forth. The Buxton proposal, when it was proposed, talked about roughly 214,000 households.
Resident Guyanese, therefore.
Huh?
Resident Guyanese, therefore.
It has to be resident Guyanese. It has to be. You can't put it for people outside that borders. You will never be able. You will never be able to come up with a policy that can include every diaspora Guyanese out there, many of whom we don't even know whether they exist or not. Come on, let us call a spade a spade. This is a one-off cash grant. Let us don't bother what's going to come in the future. We don't know that. This is a one-off cash grant that was announced on the 10th of October. There was a specific sum that was identified, $60 billion. People are forgetting that figure. $60 billion. It was said by this same government that they were targeting 264,000 households from the last census, plus a figure that they were going to put in there for those households that were missed. And so they were targeting 300,000 households for $200,000. And they said 60 billion was the targeted amount that they were going to set aside for this. At no time did the government in their original announcement talked about any diaspora guidance. At no time. So what is this thing now moving from cash transfer to vote buying Because this is essentially what has happened. And the diaspora Guyanese got to be wary of being used or being caught up in a scheme that was well intended to improve the welfare of Guyanese in Guyana. And they're being used or tagged along for other nefarious purposes. Overseas Guyanese are our families, our friends, our relatives, and so on. It is not that we don't care or anything, but let us be quite clear about what it is that we have before us. And that is why I just put on the comment section that to avoid any future confusion, that the government should be developing a green paper similar to the paper that we developed prior to the legislation of the Natural Resource Fund. The government should be developing a green paper on cash transfers and put it in the public domain for widespread consultations. And that consultation will include the overseas and how they can benefit from the oil wealth. It may not be through cash transfers, but they may have brilliant ideas about how to develop, how to benefit from it, from the oil wealth also. Cash transfers also may serve, if it's big enough, like the 5,000 US, if we ever reach there, may serve as an incentive for overseas Guyanese to accelerate their permanent return to Guyana, to benefit. But in conclusion, let's call a spade a spade. Let's call a spade a spade. The thing was intended for Guyanese at home, not Guyanese at home and abroad, because there's no way you can develop a policy for Guyanese at home and abroad when it comes to cash. And the very essence of that is in the original idea that they had of targeting 300,000 households at $200,000 each for $60 billion. And we have to assume that they have $60 billion only is what they could have identified. We have to keep them at their word and stop this moving target where they themselves now can't even tell you how much this thing is going to cost, how many people are going to benefit. And let us not also be sidetracked. We talking about people who live in New York and Canada and England who are not going to come back and pay $1,000 fare and so on. That may be so. But what about people who live just across the pond in Suriname? Last time we checked this out, got about 40 to 50,000 Guyanese in Suriname. They could just get a canoe and paddle across. Or what about those who are in Brazil? They don't even have to have a canoe. They could just drive across. And there are about 12 to 15 to 20,000 Guyanese in Brazil. And what about all those Guyanese in Venezuela? Who's still there, notwithstanding Mr. Mann's over there nonsense? They're still there. They can just come across the pond and collect and then run across back. And about 20,000, they're next door. And Barbados is close by.
And Suriname right down there.
I just don't talk about Suriname. They got about 45, 50,000 Guyanese over there.
Right.
So let's only think about, well, Queens or Brooklyn and so on. No. That those people may not come because there may not enough flights to bring them and so on. A couple may get in because they visited and so forth. But let's not get carried away over trying to hurt the feelings of overseas Guyanese. Overseas Guyanese understand. They understand that this thing was already meant for the people living back home to help the suffering of the people who back home. They may feel a way also that they may be taken away. Having been included, they may be taken away from somebody who should get here. And we let us worry about things like how the really and truly needy, how they are going to get. Like I said, you have large numbers of vagrants, people living on the seawall, unemployed, large numbers of people who have fallen through the cracks. That nobody is about to go and find them to give them the 100,000. And those are the people you have to worry about. You have significant numbers of people in this country who don't have an ID card nor a passport. Are we going to say that they are not going to get? You require neither a passport nor ID card to vote in this country. So why are you requiring it now for them to get a cash grant? After all, does your not having an ID card or a passport make you a non-Guyanese?
You will need to use a laptop or computer. You cannot
but it
get
doesn't
these.
remove the fact that you are a Guyanese. And that is why this thing has to be codified in legislation. It has to be codified in legislation because you could find a number of lawsuits this time around. You can't exclude the Guyanese because they don't happen to have an ID card or a passport. And since you can't do it for them to go and vote, why are you excluding them from getting the grant if they don't have both of those documents? And both of those documents are not easily available. You can't turn up at the national registration place and ask them for an ID card. It's a long process. It takes you a long time, long after the cash grant is finished. Let us discuss those issues and how we can get around it, rather than worrying about whether we should include the diaspora and so on. This is not a thing that's saying that we are against the diaspora. And I see people say, well, diaspora people send home money and all of this kind. We love it. We agree with all of that. But this is not a tit for tat story that we're on to right now. This is a policy initiative that was originally designed to assist in the horrendous cost of living that we have been experiencing. And our overseas, it needs to be explained to our overseas people. And as I say, I'm repeating again, it is a reason why overseas people don't get old age pension in Guyana. The criteria for getting an old age pension in Guyana, including residency. So we're not bringing up new criteria to shut out the diaspora. Once again, we love the diaspora, but we must build more structured approaches to involving the diaspora and they should be part of the discussion of how they can benefit from the oil wealth. And all of that afterwards in the green paper can be codified in law. And it's transparent, it's accountable, it's permanent, and everything else there afterwards. But in this one-off situation, let's not bring enmity that we tried to avoid when we were going to use household. Let us not bring new enmity. Let us remain focused, laser focused on this, because we are being sidetracked too quickly. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you for your insight, sir. And again, Mr. Jordan, as we say, struck the nail in the head. Again, I refer to Dr. Thomas's proposal, which suggests that there should be what did we call it? What did we call it? A pilot? I don't think the exact word is pilot, but it was suggested that a pilot study be done to determine all the elements of activating this cash bonus. Call it on.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good morning to the rest of Guyana. I must say how I enjoyed Mr. Jordan's presentation there this morning. I think he was so on point, because I'm thinking the same way. How can you look to give cash payout to people living in America, Canada, the UK, all over the world? These people get benefit, so much benefits as an American citizen when you're over there. You get benefits in Canada too. So why would you want to have a foot or toward benefit from Guyana? You're out and they're up for that. I think that Guyana is facing a very severe political crisis, and the opposition seems to be doing nothing about it. They seem to be so. Now, let me tell you, might say why. You know that election is near. Elections are near. Now, the opposition has taken a position on not to engage the government on extra parliamentary actions. For whatever reason, I do not know. I don't know. Let me be frank. Let me be clear and frank. I don't know if the opposition thinks that they're going to rely on the international community to remove the PPP from office when it comes to election time, like they did to the opposition, Green Jill's government. I don't know if that is what they're depending on. But I'm going to say this clear to you. Even if that is the case, you have to have numbers for that. You have to have numbers. Right? Now, you look at this situation whereby I keep saying all these foreign companies coming into Guyana and having concession more than the Guyanese national here. More than the Guyanese nationals that are living here. You can come from overseas tomorrow, bring some investment to Guyana, and you get plots and acres of land. You as a citizen of Guyana now, apply for just a house lot and you got to wait 25 years. So, and then added to that, you have the election in the United States, and the polls showing that which the Democrats, which I favor, their numbers are shrinking. Let's say tomorrow, Donald Trump government is elected to office in the United States. What happened upon our international dependency of installing you? If this is the case, what happens to that? Well, then are gone. So that they're thinking that you will have some sort of diaspora or international community intervention to assist Guyana or speak on behalf of the opposition to have a clear election so that the opposition can win. If this does not come with the election, let's say tomorrow of Donald Trump, what will you do? And then everything happens. No political action really in Guyana? None whatsoever. You need to have extra parliamentary action to send on the message. You call it for a clean voter list and biometrics, which I totally agree.
So that you know, you and I and all the restaurants and everybody be out there become. And we don't see the elected officials like the parliamentarians don't want to be presidents in the opposition. One of these, you don't see them coming out there and back us. Because they know a strong message. Again, people might be started being calling for massive protests in the streets of that. It doesn't have to be, to destroy people. The Constitution gives you a right to protest and picket. Let's pick let's have thousands of people picketing the office of the Election Commission, diplomatic missions, and let them know we are serious about this. Because let's say the Donald Trump administration is elected. How can you, how will you deal with this situation? Because for sure you will don't, and then we will have Pompeo here again, like he did after the elections. Everyone knows that when he visited the other day, what he said to the administration, so that let me close in saying the need to be extra parliamentary actions. Because number one, most parliament everything, the issue of the American election, we can easily see the Donald Trump administration being elected again. So what do we do then? If we do not have any extra political, extra parliamentary action now, we are waiting for. I totally disagree. I mean, Abu and my friend, and Nigel is my friend, and I trust them as leaders to make the right decision, but I can see they're going wrong at this time. So with that, thank you very much, and viewers and everyone, have a nice day.
That's it, caller?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for your call.
Good morning, one and all. Guyanese, be smart in your words of choice. Jagrio is very wicked. He's trying to cause conflicts between one another to turn people's mind to think different towards one another. No sensible Guyanese is not going to leave the diaspora for 100,000. If anybody leave the diaspora for 100,000,
follow the line.
Jagrio know who to pick out, and he's going to give them in millions. Guyanese, be smart. We have the resources, and we could live better than who in the diaspora. Don't let Jagrio think that they smart more than we Guyanese people. We are smart wherever we go. So show them that the election day, coalition government for all our children future. Be smart, Guyanese. Jagdo just trying to cause conflict between one another. And if anybody leave the diaspora, it's people we going to pay them tickets and do everything necessary for them, and they will get the most money than you people in Guyana. Guyana have the resources so people could live a better life. Don't let Jagdo think they're smarter than Guyanese. Show them that day, election day, PPP have to go. They was installed. And they will be a new coalition government for our children's future.
Thank you for holding you on.
Be smart, Guyanese.
Caller, you on.
Now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Now to the thoughts that are on the floor. What Minister Jordan said is right. But one thing he ain't get right is that many foreigners, people living in the diaspora, when they attain the age of 65, they do come back and secure their old age pension. They come and they get the pension. Now I might get a lot of enemies today because Now the people in the diaspora are like in the United States, I think England and Canada. They do get a lot of money because when they submit their taxes, I think in the US they get a thing called tax returns. And you would hear people saying, you know what, come to Guyana on my tax returns because when they finish clearing up the tax and you have overpaid your tax, you're being given back a reimbursement for the extra money. But don't matter how much money you pay into Guyana system, we don't ever get a referral of money. Now with this 100,000 that everybody is beating up themselves on, I don't think that if I was in the diaspora and I hear Guyana they offering 100,000, I didn't come back with 100,000. I would not have done it because I would have known that once I'm a legit person in America, what I would get from paying my taxes. When it comes to Guyanese, many people would go up to the States on holiday, and if they get a fine also, they will do it. And anytime you go a fine also on a holiday visa, and the authorities in the country realize you doing that, your visa is being forfeited. But in Guyana, anybody could come as the other causes say, get land, get work, get everything, and nothing is being forfeited. The only set of people who got a big hustle to do anything in Guyana are Africans. Whether you're African, Asian, African, African, whatever. When you meet the Guyana now, in this dispensation of you're denied, and if you spend 40 years, you cannot get no paper to say that you're in the country for 40 years, and certain things that the person who is not of African ethnicity would come and get minutes after they arrive here. They've got to change the status and they're entitled to any and everything that Guyana has to offer. Unlike the Africans. Because I am fighting a case for an African, a mother of partly 2 children, anytime I'm going to get to come here. And up to now, all around, this country has denied that African woman the rights to be a Guyanese by giving her our papers to let her be right in Guyana. But take the story of the Spaniards who come, getting freelance to live all over the country, getting jobs, getting Regent Street, all the prime spots to do business. The Chinese are the same thing, and the Venezuelans are the same thing. But once you've got the dark melon that makes you an African, those joints are denied. Lastly, Gaddafi, I think you should start reading for people because I could remember when the heat of the big police what they send the squad at the police place to take you out, be like wake up like or in Boston. You said that this thing, y'all telling you sing like a canary, he ain't gonna sing. And truth to farm, certain things done pull out. But I hope that America could do it like what they do Guyana Richard, takes away his visa and let him stay in Guyana with his big full bank account and enjoy the beauties of Guyana. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call. It's 2 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. I think I'll take a wrap there. Let me see. We have 2 voice notes. I'll play them and then that's a wrap. I think we have an audio problem. Am I accurate? Is there an audio problem? All right. Yes, I was playing a couple of voice notes and I wasn't hearing them. But it's at the end of the program. It's 9 o'clock now. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow on the other side, as they say. Do enjoy the rest of your day. I will try. I value your advice. I know what you're saying is correct, and I will try to get some rest. I don't know I'm going to make it happen, but it will happen. I'll get some rest. You all have a good day. Much love. Remember, the Zelle, the Cash App is still not working, so you can drop your contributions in the Zelle and so on and so forth. Have a good one. Much love. Peace. See you tomorrow. We gonna talk. In good morning, y'all. How you do? Bye-bye.